The wolfdog, half wolf, half dog, all identity crisis. Imagine being born with the instincts of a predator and the emotional need for belly rubs. That's the wolfdog. Not quite wild, not quite a pet, just permanently confused about its life choices. Wolfdogs have existed for centuries, sometimes by accident, sometimes by human obsession with owning something dangerous. Native American tribes lived alongside them, working animals as much as companions. European nobility bred them as status symbols, because nothing says power like a pet that might eat your guests. But the wolfdog isn't just a conversation starter. It exists on a spectrum. Low-content wolfdogs, mostly dogs, can be as calm as a husky. High-content ones carry genuine wolf instincts, unpredictable, territorial, and resistant to any domestication you had planned. Animal shelters are full of them, abandoned by owners who wanted a wolf and got a wolf. Surprise. The wolfdog became a symbol of humanity's oldest mistake, trying to tame what was never meant to be tamed. And yet, we keep trying, because some combinations are irresistible, even when they're complicated. The tigon. What happens when a tiger meets a lion and nature forgets to say no? The tigon is the offspring of a male tiger and a female lion, and it looks exactly as chaotic as that sounds. Striped like a tiger, manned like a lion, confused like both. Here's where most people get it wrong. The tigon isn't small. It grows to roughly the size of its lioness mother, completely normal, perfectly proportioned. It only looks modest when standing next to its famous cousin, the liger, which suffers from genetic gigantism and grows into something that shouldn't exist outside a fever dream. The tigon didn't shrink. The liger just got out of hand. Tigons carry the territorial aggression of tigers and the social dominance of lions in one compact, deeply inconvenient package. They exist almost exclusively in captivity, born from zoos that either made a mistake or a spectacle. Either way, the tigon became proof that nature has boundaries, and humans have a long history of ignoring them. The pizzly bear. The bear that climate change accidentally invented. A grizzly bear wanders north. A polar bear wanders south. They meet in the melting middle and apparently hit it off. The result has two names, and which one you use depends on who showed up in whose neighborhood first. A polar bear father and grizzly mother gives you a pizzly. A grizzly father and polar mother gives you a grolar. The 2006 Canadian bear, the one that made headlines, was technically a grolar, but pizzly stuck in the papers because it sounded better and nobody asked the bear. Creamy white fur, grizzly-shaped body, brown patches around the eyes like nature's own sleep mask. Physically, it sits awkwardly between two worlds. Too heavy for ice hunting, not quite built for the forest. It's the biological equivalent of being overdressed for every occasion. But this isn't a mistake. It's an adaptation in real time, a creature reshaping itself as its world literally melts around it. And if that doesn't make you feel something, nothing will. The Jaglion. When a jaguar and a lion produce offspring, you get the Jaglion, the rarest of all big cat hybrids. Not a one-time miracle exactly. There are scattered records from 19th century menageries, poorly documented, easy to miss. But the only well-documented modern birth happened once. One zoo, Canada, 2006. The mother was a lion named Lola. The father, a jaguar named Diablo, which honestly sounds like the opening line of a nature documentary no one asked for. The Jaglion cubs, named Jazara and Tsunami, carried spotted coats like their father, but the athletic build of their mother. Two apex predators distilled into one. In the wild, jaguars and lions live on different continents entirely, so this combination exists only because humans put them in the same space. The Jaglion isn't a natural story, it's a human one. A reminder that exotic animal breeding for entertainment created living creatures that belong to no world at all. The Leopon. Half leopard, half lion, all elegance. The Leopon has the body of a lion and the spotted coat of a leopard, like a big cat that couldn't choose a wardrobe and simply refused to. The serious breeding experiments began in Japan, at Koshin Hanshin Park in 1959, where scientists apparently decided the world needed a spotted lion and pushed forward regardless. The result was stunning. Leopons were larger than leopards, stronger than expected, with rosette spots scattered across a tawny lion base. They could climb trees like leopards, a skill most lions consider beneath them. In some accounts, Leopons showed the stealth of a leopard and the sociability of a lion, two competing personalities in one spotted body, like being an introvert who craves attention. But Leopons couldn't reproduce. A beautiful dead end, created by human curiosity, gone when the curiosity faded. The Leopon is the most elegant reminder that just because you can combine two things doesn't mean the result gets a future. The Caracat. A caracal and a domestic cat walk into a genetics experiment. The caracat is their result. Part wild, part household, and entirely too much for most apartments. The caracal is the wild partner here, a medium-sized African wildcat known for its dramatic tufted ears and its ability to leap 6 feet vertically to snatch birds from the air. Its domestic partner brings the purring, but nature built in 2 obstacles, not 1. The size difference alone is significant. A caracal outweighs a domestic cat by 3 to 1. And then there's the timing. Caracals gestate for up to 75 days. Domestic cats are done in 63. That week and a half of biological disagreement means premature births, complications, and an animal that exists only when everything goes right and human intervention fills the gaps where nature said, stop. The few Caracats that survive display the tufted ears of their wild parent, the curious temperament of their domestic one, and a general energy level that would exhaust most owners within a week. The Caracat is our obsession with owning something wild, softened just enough to sit on a sofa. It never fully works. It never fully stops being beautiful. The Dio. In the highlands of Tibet and Mongolia, where the air is thin and the winters are merciless, there exists an animal so practical it became indispensable. The Dzo is a cross between a domestic yak and domestic cattle, and unlike most hybrids on this list, it was created entirely on purpose. The Dzo is bigger than a cow, stronger than a yak, and more productive than both. More milk, more meat, more endurance at altitude. But nature still collected its tax. Male Dzos are completely sterile, useful as mountain laborers, irreplaceable on brutal terrain, but genetically a dead end. Only the females, called Dzomos, can reproduce, bred back to yaks or cattle to keep the line going. So the Dzo exists in 2 halves. The males work the land, the females carry the future. In a list full of biological accidents, the Dzo is the one hybrid built with intention. And even then, nature made sure to keep one hand on the rulebook. The Zonkey, a zebra, and a donkey, because apparently the animal kingdom needed more stripes and more stubbornness in one package. The Zonkey, also called a zedonk or a zebroid, carries the stocky body of a donkey with random zebra stripes scattered across its legs and face, like nature spilled a pattern and didn't clean it up properly. Zonkeys are sterile, as most equine hybrids are, and they tend to inherit the zebra's wild temperament alongside the donkey's refusal to cooperate. A combination that makes them spectacularly difficult to train and absolutely wonderful to look at. They've been bred in zoos and occasionally appeared in the wild near areas where zebras and donkeys share grazing land. No mythology surrounds them, no grand symbolism, no ancient legend. The zonkey exists simply because 2 animals were in the same field and nature said why not. And somehow, that's the most honest origin story on this entire list. See you in the next video. The liger, the biggest cat that has ever lived. Not wild, not accidental, Almost every liger ever born exists because a human deliberately put a male lion and a female tiger in the same enclosure. Nature didn't do this. We did. And the result grew large enough to make you wonder why we did.